Last night, the Royals got more than 7 innings from Brian Bannister, 2 home runs from Jose Guillen, and a key defensive play from David DeJesus. That was more than enough to win Game 1. Now Kyle Davies goes for his 2nd straight win as the Royals and Rockies are back at it today on Fox Sports Kansas City. Interleague play continues at Kauffman Stadium with the Royals warming up just like the weather. It is hot in Kansas City, and so are the Royals. They've won 7 of their last 9 games after beating Colorado last night in Game 1, 9-2. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and now the Royals are 6-2 under Ned Yost, trying to get this thing right side up, and perhaps the Royals can get back into contention in the American League Central. Is that possible? Well, just ask the Rockies about 2009 when Jim Tracy took over.
Well, Ryan, Jim Tracy took over a struggling Rockies team and turned them around, and now Ned Yost is charged with the same thing here with the Royals. He took over a struggling Royals team, and now they turned things around in the last 10 days.
Last year, and almost exactly a year ago, Jim Tracy took over the Colorado Rockies. It wasn't his first managing job, just like this isn't Ned Yost's first managing job. But prior to May the 29th, the Rockies were 10 games below 500. Jim Tracy took over. They finished over 30 games above 500 on his watch. Ned Yost has been preaching lately, keeping an even keel. So we asked him before the game, is it easier to pick guys up when they're down or calm them down when they're too high?
It's a job both ways, really. It's a job both ways. But again, you learn through experience, and experience will teach them how to do it too. This is a game that's a whole lot funner when you're winning and playing good and you're together as a group. So in respect to that, my job is to always find that fine line, always build guys up when they need it, and always kind of temper them down a little bit when they need it, and try to keep them in those boundaries.
Well, finding that thin line is really tough for a manager. You got your guys that are playing well, and you want to make sure they stay there, but not get too high and get too overconfident. But I think the toughest job for any manager is taking a guy that's struggling and just trying to keep his dauber up every day.
What will happen today? Well, the old baseball saying goes, you're only as good as your next day's starting pitcher, and Kyle Davies is coming off a win for the Royals. Jeff Francis is coming off just his 2nd start of the year after beginning the year on the disabled list. We'll talk pitching when we come back. Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. Well, the Royals had a 3-1 road trip through Baltimore and Cleveland. Kyle Davies won Game 1 on Monday.
Well, Kyle Davis has really turned things around for himself, Ryan. The thing I point to is the 2 walks. And what he's trying to do now, and what he's really doing is pitching the contact and making his defense work for him and getting that confidence that his defense is back there and letting them do their job. I think that's really turned him around.
Hoping for the same run support the Royals pitchers have gotten over the last 3 days. The Royals have scored 26 runs in their last 3. Only change from last night, Willie Bloomquist is going to start in center field with a left-hander on the mound, so Mitch Meyer is out. Bloomquist will bat 8th, and Yuniesky Betancourt will move up to number 7. Royals are facing left-hander Jeff Francis, making just his second start since beginning on the DL. Here's the Kia pitching report.
A very good left-hander, Ryan. He's trying to return to form. At first start since 08, he had a 7-inning, 1-earned-run game on Sunday. And the change is good. A great changeup, great deception on his changeup. Also brings a tough curveball and a very good fastball.
Well, we told you before the game started last night that Jose Guillen has great career numbers against the Rockies, and he only added to that last night with 2 home runs, and now that's 3 in his last 2 games. The first pitch is next. Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. It is that kind of day. Short sleeve shorts, and there's Morgan out in left field in a Hawaiian shirt, which always looks good. Here's the Rockies M&I Bank batting order. Changes for today. Dexter Fowler will lead off. Carlos Gonzalez is 0 for his last 14, so Fowler will lead off. He's 0 for his last 17. And in left field is Seth Smith. Ryan Spilborghs was in left field last night. They'll be facing Kyle Davies, and Kia tells us more about Kyle.
We talked about Kyle and how he's improved, Ryan. Only 2 walks allowed in his last 2 starts. He's definitely been keeping it in the yard. 4 home runs allowed in his last 8 starts. But there are National League issues. 6.67 ERA with Royals versus NL teams.
So Jim Tracy in his second year, his first full season. He has also managed the Pirates and the Dodgers. And his team comes in with a record of 20-22. And in the National League West, that puts them 4 games back. No balls, 2 strikes on Dexter Fowler. 87 degrees and windy from right to left. Right on time at 3:10. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. So anything hit in the air to left field and left center is going to get some help today. Both pitchers are going to try and keep the ball down. Fowler, a switch hitter, and didn't start switch hitting until after the 04 season, so he's still struggling a bit from this side of the plate. He's a natural right-hand batter. He made headlines this year when Ubaldo Jimenez threw a no-hitter back on April the 17th against the Braves. Fowler helped save it with a great play diving in center field in the 7th inning. And now he is down on strikes, so a good start for Kyle Davies. Here's the defense behind him today, presented by Suzuki. So Willie Bloomquist will be in center field today with Posednik and DeJesus. Iaspo, Betancourt, Avilas, and Butler around the horn. And Jason Kendall, the battery mate of Kyle Davies. So Kyle's had trouble with the National League, and he has had a lot of trouble with the Colorado Rockies. Fouled away by Jason Giambi, 1 for 4 with a double last night.
You know, Giambi's really struggling right now, Ryan. It's kind of hard to go from being an everyday player all of a sudden now you're a pinch hitter, just getting that one at bat a night. But that pitch, he just missed a fastball down. That used to be his pitch. I mean, he would drive that ball to left center field and mill in. He would turn on it. Always had a good eye. But in the last night's game and this game, he's just not centering the balls that he should hit.
Another pitch that was up and fouled away. Kyle 0-2 with an ERA over 11 against the Colorado Rockies. Two balls, 2 strikes on Giambi. Giambi, the 2000 American League MVP with the Oakland A's. Remember, his younger brother Jeremy came up through the Royals organization, and then those two played together in Oakland. And even though he's not hitting much so far this year, with the batting average right at 200, still has the good eye. And his on-base percentage is 175 points higher than his batting average. Iaspo into foul ground, and there are 2 outs. You know, sometimes you like to look at the on-base percentage numbers and just look at that number alone. You know, anywhere from 350 and up is a very good number. But then you look at some guys and you just see how much higher one number is compared to the other. I mean, 375 is good, but if Giambi was a 340 hitter, that's not much of an on-base percentage. But from 200 as an average to 375, that guy's walking a lot.
He's walking a lot, and he does have that good eye, Ryan. But, you know, the good eye for taking balls and strikes for him right now are not carrying over to getting your pitch and centering your pitch that you can hit. And I think that's one of the things that's hurting him right now. It's a nice changeup by Kyle right off the outside corner. And I tell you, the one thing you notice about Banning started last night and you see Kyle tonight is they pitch similar in what they try to get accomplished. And they just they want to throw the ball down in the zone. They want to have movement on every pitch. And they just want to create those ground balls. And I think they both come to the realization that strikeouts are not the number one thing. The number one thing is pitch to contact and let your defense help you behind you.
On the corner, 3 balls, 2 strikes on Todd Helton. And the game really rolled along for the first 7 innings last night as Bannister was throwing strikes. Infield defense in particular was busy. Mike Avila seemed to have every other ball hit in his direction. And as a reward for that, the Royals gave Brian Bannister very good defense. Mike Avilas had 7 assists in the first 5 innings. David DeJesus had an outfield assist in the second inning, throwing out Troy Tulowitzki at third base. Helton pulls it fair past Butler. And Todd Helton is to second base with 2 outs. Now let's bring in Joel Goldberg, who is out in right field.
Well, guys, had a chance to spend a lot of time talking with Kyle Davies since his last start, and I think, Frank, you really hit on it. The key for him is the walks. And if you go back to 2008 in September, his last 4 starts, he averaged 1 walk per game. Each of his last 2 starts, 1 walk in each of these games. He would have liked to have had more strikeouts the last game, just 2 strikeouts, but he likes the 2-to-1 ratio. And as Bob McClure said, keep throwing those first pitch strikes. Don't worry about the strikeouts. Limit the walks.
Thanks, Joel. Ball 1-2. Troy Tulowitzki. And the numbers always show there's a big difference between a hitter beginning the count 0-1 and the hitter beginning 1-0. Tulowitzki had 2 hits and a double last night. In the air to left field. The wind pushing it a little bit deeper for Posednik, and he brings it down, and Helton is left at second base. Royals taking game 1 9-2, and now they've won 4 in a row over the Rockies here at Kauffman Stadium. Left-hander Jeff Francis back in 2007 when the Rockies surprised everyone and advanced to the World Series. He was right in the middle of it with a 17-win season, but then was hurt in 2008, went on the disabled list a couple of times with a shoulder problem. And then before spring training in 2009, had surgery on the shoulder, so he missed all of last year and started this year on the DL. So he's making just his second start and pitched very well on Sunday in his first start of the year. Washington Nationals at Coors Field, and the Rockies winning 2-1. Francis did not get a decision, but held the Nationals to just 1 run in 7 innings.
One of the keys to Jeff Francis today, Ryan, is going to be the ability to keep his fastball down. He has a tendency to throw a lot of high fastballs, but if you get the fastball in his zone, he's got that good curveball, he's got that good changeup.
Ball 1 on Scott Posednik. 0 for 3 last night. Did reach with a walk. and scored a run. Also drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. Posednik facing Francis for the first time. And the curveball is in for a strike. 2 years ago, the Rockies were here and the Royals swept Colorado, and they beat Francis in the series, and they really beat Francis, scoring 7 runs in less than 5 innings. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Posednik. Still 2-2. Francis, very tall, skinny, 6'5", just over 200 pounds. He is from Vancouver, British Columbia. Here's the swinging bunt with 2 strikes and 2 perfection.
Well, there's really an art to this, and I don't think anybody else in baseball can do this. I mean, this is a fastball that he probably could have turned on, but I mean, he just let this ball, he just got the right angle with the bat. It was just great touch on this ball. I mean, there's no way in the world you can throw him out on this play. I mean, it's got to be so perfect, and he's mastered it.
And Francis jumps ahead of Mike Aviles, 1 for 4 with a walk and an RBI. Mike has hit in 6 straight and batting at .368.
That's a pretty good hit and run situation here with Posednik and Mike Aviles at the plate. Mike helms the ball real well.
Into right center. That's a long run for Fowler. He's over there to make the catch, and Posednik is back to first, 1 out. And a look at the Rockies defensively. Smith and Fowler did not start last night. They're in the outfield. Stewart, Tulowitzki, Barmes, and Helton around the horn. Miguel Olivo calls the game for Francis. Another homegrown Rocky, Jeff Francis, was the first-round pick in 2002. Ball 1 to David DeJesus. 2 hits last night, drove in a run, and made that excellent play in the top of the second inning, throwing out Tulowitzki, trying to go first to third. Stopped the Rockies' potential rally, and the Rockies never got a run on the scoreboard until the 8th inning.
Looks like Scott Posednik's having a hard time getting a read on Jeff Francis. I think probably just get you a lead and go first move and guess right. That might be the best way to do it until you can figure something out.
Right to Barmes, out at second base, and the Rockies turn a double play. So a leadoff single, but the Royals send just 3 to the plate. '85 Classic, where members of the '85 Royals beat members of the '85 Cardinals again in a softball game before today's Royals-Rockies game. 87 degrees at first pitch. It could be warmer tomorrow. So after 5 or 6 weeks of wondering when the warm weather was going to arrive, rather than get a nice warm spring day, it's almost like we have the beginning of summer.
June and July, they jumped on us real quick today.
Kyle Davies gave up a 2-out double to Todd Helton in the first inning. That's it. And throws ball 1 to Brad Hopp, batting at .337, was 1 for 4 last night. You might remember when we were in Baltimore, we were talking about Adam Jones making the All-Star team for the first time and how he tailed off in the second half. Same thing happened to Brad Hopp last year. Hit .320 in the first half, went to the All-Star game, and then in the second half hit .240. And felt like he needed to make some changes as far as conditioning and his diet. Wanted to be in better shape this year, so he called on a neighbor and a former teammate, Scott Posednik. They live in the Dallas area. And Brad Hopp said, "Hook me up with the guy that keeps you in shape." Kyle Davies has his second strikeout.
Getting things started for yourself as a hitter, Ryan, depending on what kind of shape you're in. The one thing you have to do as a hitter, you got to swing at strikes. And as long as you're picking the ball up and swinging at strikes, you got a chance to turn things around. But you can't be chasing balls like that in the dirt, and especially when you're just pulling off the ball. You got to at least try to go down and try to foul it off. So I think right now, guys go in slumps mainly because they're not seeing the ball and not swinging at strikes.
0-1 on Seth Smith. Another homegrown Rocky. And we told you last night when the Rockies went to the World Series in '07, the number that was so startling was that on the postseason roster of the 25 players the Rockies had, 17 were from their farm system. Davies ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I had a chance to manage against most of these guys coming up through Double-A, and had a chance to see them all, and they were all real impressive. And you know, from Jeff Francis to Ubaldo Jimenez, and even Seth Smith.
It's a 1-2 pitch and strokes it into right field. 1 on, 1 out. Well, Royals fans, now you can watch player locker room interviews anytime you want. Go to FoxSportsKansasCity.com, click on the video link for 24-hour access to Royals info and video. So you can hear Ned Yost's post-game comments the next day if you would like. Now Miguel Olivo with 1 on, 1 out. Good pitch over the outside. Olivo 1 for 3 with a walk last night. Olivo seemed like a perfect fit for the Royals. If you look at the offensive numbers, he is a .398 hitter against the Royals, so the Royals had enough of that. And prior to 2008, which was his first year in KC, he hit .415 here at Kauffman Stadium. And one year Miguel came in with the Marlins and had another great series here. And Freddie Gonzalez, the manager of the Marlins, was searching the stadium looking for a little Kauffman Stadium replica statue or something that he could just keep in Miguel Olivo's locker or install a little fountain in his locker. That is just foul off the right field line, and it's 1-2. Seth Smith at first base has not attempted a stolen base this year. Rockies are in the middle of the pack in the National League in stolen bases. In fact, they're middle of the pack in just about all the major offensive categories. Their offense has not performed the way they had hoped in the first quarter of the season. 9th in team batting average, 9th in runs scored, 8th in home runs, 8th in stolen bases, 8th in on-base percentage. But Don Baylor and the rest of the Rockies, just going by their track record, feel that eventually they're going to get it going.
Well, Don Baylor's one of those guys. He not only brings a wealth of knowledge, you know, to these guys as a hitting instructor, but also a toughness to the game. He was a very tough player when he played, and I think you look at a lot of the guys who had great years the year before, they off to a slow start, but sooner or later they will pick up. And they picked up last year, the year before. And with the talent on this team and the leadership of some of the guys they have on this ball club, you have to expect them to play better at some point.
Down goes Olivo. So 3 strikeouts for Kyle Davies in less than 2 innings.
Well, this is what Miguel Olivo is going to get a lot of with 2 strikes, is that breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, whether it be a curveball or a slider. He wants to pull the ball, and you can see how he had to reach for that breaking ball away. And that's in old terms, that he goes fishing for that pitch quite a bit.
So 2 down, and now Ian Stewart. You're talking about how tough Don Baylor is, and you have to be as many times as he was hit by a pitch in his major league career. And for a long time, Don Baylor was the all-time record holder. 267 times he was hit by a pitch. And then over the past few years was passed by Craig Biggio. 1 ball, 1 strike on Stewart.
You know, all the times that Don Baylor was hit, he's only charged the mound twice, and one happened to be against us when Dennis Leonard hit him in 1976 with the A's, and that was one of the times that he charged. We were just coming in our own, and they were the perennial leaders of the division, and we were getting ready to take over, and they made it tough on us, and we went in there for a 4-game series, and Leo happened to hit him with a pitch, and that just set everything off. You know, it was unbelievable.
Leo's here today, taking part in the 85 Classic, the softball game with the 85 Royals and the 85 Cardinals. Two balls, 2 strikes.
You want to see a good change up here, Ryan. Look at this ball. Look how it just goes down and away. And Kyle Davies and Banish, they look so much alike when they pitch. And, you know, other than Kyle having a little bit better fastball and throws more curveballs, when they get to the changeup and the cutter, they look almost identical.
Butler makes a nice diving play and to the bag himself. So for the 2nd straight game, the Royals have a great play on defense in the 2nd inning. Post. The Royals clutch hitting, 373 with runners in scoring position. 6 of 8 quality starts, and Ned talked about how he's going to influence some of the pitchers changing their routines in between starts. Bullpen has improved. That was a big problem in the first few weeks. Or the one that maybe gained the most attention, delegating assignments to the individual coaches. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, then A, B, C, or D. Standard text rates apply. Billy Butler made a great play on defense. Remember, you can win a suite here at Kauffman Stadium by participating in the sprint, you call it. If you participate today, you'll get a bounce back text message. We've already had one fan enjoy the Fox Sports Kansas City suite, and another one will be tomorrow, so don't miss out. There will be 7 more opportunities after tomorrow. Backhanded stop by Stewart over at third base. Billy is out to begin the bottom of the second inning, but made a great play to end the top of the second inning.
Well, this is what you like to see. You like to see you guys on the ground doing everything they can to keep these balls from going to the outfield. And Billy he came off, had a good first step to his right, into his dive, and made an outstanding play.
So one away to Jose Guillen, who hit 2 long home runs last night, and now has 3 home runs in his last 3 official at-bats. Also walked and was hit by a pitch last night. Down to the count, no balls, 2 strikes. A reminder to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in today's game. One of us predicted Jose would hit another home run. Not going to hit it on that pitch, down on 3. And Francis has his first strikeout.
I go back to you call it, and you try to figure out where Ned Yost has made the biggest difference. I mean, I like C and D on that, and I think he did a real good job coming in and delegating to his staff what he wants them to do. He's going to get out of their way, let them do their job, evaluate them on their job, and bullpen management. I think that's another area that is crucial to this ball club, that he's been able to line the guys out. He kind of have an idea of what he wants to do with each guy when he wants to use them. He's shown a little more confidence in Kyle Farnsworth and built him up a little bit. And I just think those 2 areas are real important. But I think just delegating to your staff and letting those guys do their job, I think that probably stands out the most.
Iaspo into right. Hop is back to make the play. Royals down 1-2-3 in the second inning. Shoot, I needed one more pitch. Well, I was just going to say. Take a look at today's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. And going back to May the 14th, that was the first day that Ned Yost was named manager of the Royals. Only the Dodgers have a better record in all the major leagues than the Royals. And then you look at the 2 losses that the Royals have had, and they have been one-run games. So they've been in all 8 and have finished ahead in 6. No scores so far today. Kyle Davies back to work with the 9, 1, and 2 hitters coming up for Colorado. Clint Barmes hit a 2-run home run last night. Trying to bunt his way on here. Brian Bannister was just sailing along. Pitched 7 scoreless innings. But in the bottom of the 7th, the Royals scored 4, and they batted 9. There were a couple of pitching changes, so it was a long inning and a lot of sitting around for Banny. And it may have affected him when he came back out for the 8th, because he gave up a single and a 2-run home run. And then with 1 out, a double. So he was out, but still an outstanding effort, giving up 2 runs and 7 in a third. Willie Bloomquist out in center field today, and he retires Barmes. And there's 1 down in the 3rd inning. Oh, coming up on Memorial Day, May the 31st, Royals and the Angels at 1:10. We have a special daytime edition of Buck Night. So $1 hot dogs, Pepsi products, peanuts, and Twinkies. Man, I can't get over that. $1 Twinkies. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. Dexter Fowler struck out in the first inning, so he is 0 for his last 18. One and 1. A switch hitter and batting just 179 from this side of the plate. And switch hitting is still new for him, a natural right-hand batter after the 2004 season. Started switch hitting, so he began doing that in pro ball. And he strikes out again. That's 4 for Davies and 2 against Fowler.
I think when you learn to switch hit, Ryan, the one thing you do, normally you choke up until you get that back control thing down. And right now Fowler's swing is way too long, and this curveball from Kyle Davis really settles in on the outer half, and he's got a long swing. He really pulls away. Sometimes I remember Willie Wilson, the natural right-handed hitter, and went to switch hit, and so did Washington. Both of them took a big bat, choked up, and really got the swing down, and just mainly tried to hit base hits and hit the ball on the ground, use his speed. And now I think Fowler's in that same area. May need to work for more back control.
Giambi loops it out into center field. A 2-out single. He is 1 for 2. It's funny you brought up Willie Wilson, because as I was talking about Fowler starting switch hitting as a professional rather than in college or in high school when he's going up against lesser competition and less pressure, I was thinking to myself, well, Willie Wilson did it after he had become a professional, and he had, which to me is still one of the most amazing years, when he had over 200 hits and had 100 hits from both sides of the plate.
1980, outstanding year. I mean, Willie would just really chop the ball and just run. I mean, he had Don Zimmer with the Red Sox so mad at him. He didn't want him to chop the ball. He brought the second baseman in, maybe 5 feet behind the mound, and he just made him swing. He said, "You hit the ball by this guy, will you?" But he just chopped the ball on the ground and ran.
Todd Helton doubled in the first inning. He had been 1 for 16 in his career at Kauffman Stadium. Helton's 7th double of the year. And now he strikes out. 5 strikeouts in 3 scoreless innings for Kyle Davies. Kyle baby. After 31 years in education, known throughout the district as a passionate teacher who encourages her students to apply what they've learned outside the classroom, Nancy has been recognized as one of the best by the local PTA and the state of Missouri. And tonight she's this afternoon enjoying the Royals and Rockies from the Buck O'Neill Legacy Seat.
My stepkids went through Chapel Lakes.
Okay.
And it's actually in Lee Summit. But part of Lee Summit is in the Blue Spring School District, so it's a pretty interesting setup how they have it there.
Well, do you remember Nancy Carson?
She didn't have my kids.
Oh, okay. Is there a special class for Gold Glove kids or something like that? Or?
Very nice school, though.
Ball one to Unieski Betancourt, 0 for 4 last night. And pulls that ball just foul. Wally Bell, the crew chief, working on the third base side.
That's going to be tough duty for umpires on this ball right here because the ball can actually cross the bag sometimes and then end up in foul territory and still be a base hit, but when you're trying to see the ball and get out of the way at the same time, that's good.
Who does that remind you of? What just happened right there?
That's a Ken Kaiser.
Ken Kaiser, oh my gosh. Longtime American League umpire. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Betancourt. Sticking the right leg out to the side and the arms in the air and got the job done. Betancourt, Bloomquist, and Kendall coming up in the third inning. Scott Posednik led off the bottom of the first with a single, but then Francis got a double play to end the first and faced only 3 in the second. Got him with a fastball up and away, and if you were watching Miguel Olivo's target, that's where he wanted it. So the Rockies thinking that Betancourt would chase up and away, and he did.
Well, this is what catchers do a lot more of now. They really emphasize where they want this pitch, and when the pitch is right on, he hits that mitt. And if the pitcher follows the catcher, Ryan, chances are most times he's going to do okay.
Willie Bloomquist gets a start today. Appeared as a pinch runner last night, scored a run, stayed on defensively, trying to bust out of an 0 for 16. And there it is, into center field. Not quite as dramatic as the setup that Joel had last night. Royals have their second hit against Jeff Francis.
I think right now Willie said, I'll take anything in that. When you're not playing every day and you get that first at bat and you get a base hit that first at bat, now you're saying, I got a chance to have a really good day now.
Now a stolen base threat over at first. Willie 3 for 3 in attempts this year. And he takes off. Olivo throws from his knees and had no chance. So Willie snaps the long drought and picks up his 4th stolen base.
Well, he just goes first move. As soon as Jeff Francis picks that front foot up, he's off and running, and Miguel Olivo had no chance. He just dig and take a quick look in and make sure the ball is not hit. And think about taking that quick look in, he doesn't slow down. He just kept his speed up and stole that base.
Also picks up his 100th career stolen base. Jason Kendall into right field. Bloomquist will tag. Brad Hopp having a little trouble with the sun at the last moment there. So Kendall is out. Bloomquist to third. And there are 2 down.
We see everybody all together. Hopp's going to the right field corner. Willie goes back to tag, and you can tell by the angle that he caught that ball, the way his body just went away from that fly ball, that he had trouble seeing it.
Posednik with the count 2-2 in the first inning. Pulled off one of his half swing, half bunt, and reached with a single. Trying to get Bloomquist home from third base. And with a runner at third base, of course, it's always important that the pitcher avoid the wild pitch, and the Royals, in a big inning last night, benefited scoring a run by both a wild pitch and a pass ball in the same inning. 2 balls, no strikes.
And one thing that the Rockies are doing that Baltimore didn't do for Scott Pasetnik is that you look at the infield, Ryan, everybody's shorting up. You got the second baseman's in off the grass, Heldon's in at first base, Stewart's in at third, and the shortstop Tulowitzki's even in. So they're not playing back and trying to give Scott Pasetnik an opportunity to get a drag bunt base hit right here.
Well, he played for them in 2008, so they know all about what he tries to do. 93 games with the Rockies. Two balls and 1 strike. Rockies as a team have uncorked 20 wild pitches, and that's tied for the most in the league. 3-1. Full count. Pasetnik's single in the first inning, his first ever at bat against Francis. Just poked the ball to the left side, and with 2 strikes, caught Stewart, the third baseman, deep. Now he pulls it to Barmes, and the Royals strand Bloomquist at third base. Yesterday on the mound through the first 3 innings. Same thing today. Kyle Davies and Jeff Francis. And here's today's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison. Francis has topped out at 91. Kyle Davies with a little extra today. He's hit 95. Fast is even faster. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Kyle has given up 1 hit in each of the first 3 innings, but no Rocky has advanced past second base. He'll get Troy Tulowitzki, Brad Hopp, and Seth Smith. And he has good command of his curveball today. 0-1. Tulowitzki flied out to left in the first inning. Tulowitzki with 2 home runs. The Rockies' 3 and 4 hitters have hit 3 home runs this year. Tulowitzki homered a couple of days ago in Houston, hit a 3-run home run in the first inning. And he had gone 93 at-bats without a home run. But with the lack of home runs, he still has 14 doubles, and he's hitting over 300.
Means he knows how to get his hits.
Frank, I noticed last night watching Tulowitzki, and it pointed out that at Long Beach State, he and Evan Longoria were teammates. And once the pitch comes in, their stances are different, but the setup is very similar. Both guys very upright with the hands up high close to the neck.
They're both tall guys, too, built pretty similar. And both have good bat speed. That's the one thing. They just swing down through the ball. And the one thing they do is the guys that stand more upright, you go back to, say, Mike Jacobs, and he was upright. His knees stayed really in that lock position, didn't get a lot of knee bend, where he may be upright, but get a little flex in the knee. That'll give you a little better balance and allows you to get through the ball. Where Jacobs were more upright, he swung around the ball a lot.
Stays back on a breaking ball, and Bloomquist racing all the way back to the track and makes the play. That ball was hit pretty good, but may have gotten some help from the wind. And anything hit high in the air today from center field over to the left field foul pole will get some help.
Well, he just gets out a little bit ahead of this ball and didn't really get everything set. He broke that back knee down, and once you break that back knee down, your lower half don't help you at all. It's all upper body at that point.
Now Brad Hopp up the left field line, and foul. Struck out swinging in the second inning. Remember, before and after every game here on Fox Sports Kansas City, you can join us for Royals Live as Joel Goldberg brings you the latest Royals news and breaks down the game's action. For complete Royals pre- and post-game coverage, tune into Royals Live with Joel on Fox Sports Kansas City. One ball, one strike. One and two. Brad Hopp off to a good start, but he has spent some time on the disabled list this year. Had problems with a left quad, his left thigh muscle. Rick Ankiel, Royals opening day center fielder, still on the DL with a right quad problem. And the question has come up quite a bit lately, what about Rick Ankiel? Trying to get that bat and defense back in the lineup. But then again, Mitch Meyer has represented himself well lately.
Well, Mitch is going to get more of an opportunity. Rick Ankiel still hasn't gone out for his minor league rehab, and that's going to be some more playing time that Mitch is going to get. And I think right now this is a good day off for him today and get a chance to rest himself a little bit. But he's going to be in there quite a bit for the rest of this month and early next month for sure.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tomorrow will be the 3-week mark since Rick Ankiel's last game for the Royals. So he's gone well past the minimum of 15 days on the disabled list. Just below the knees. It's only the second 3-ball count for Kyle Davies all game. And Hopp has fouled off 5 pitches. Kyle makes a nice backhand play and guns it over to Butler for the second out.
Well, this is called helping yourself right here. Kyle really bounces off the mound and makes a nice backhand play, and he just throws a rocket over there to Billy. He wasn't going to take a chance on lobbing the ball. He's not used to doing that, so he gave him a nice strike, and Billy held on. A lot of quickness in Kyle's part that time. He had to follow through, get that right foot down. Then he's got to go back behind himself to make that backhand play.
And Kyle persistent throwing strikes to Brad Hopp after all those foul balls and avoiding the walk. Only one walk for Kyle in his last start, a win at Baltimore on Monday. Also in that game, he only struck out 2, so it wasn't a typical Kyle Davies start with a lot of non-contact plate appearances, a lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts. He was pitching to contact, and as a result had good defense behind him. And he's avoided a walk so far today in 3 2/3 innings. 2 balls, 1 strike on Seth Smith. Reached with a single to right field in the second inning.
Well, Smith is the first guy who's really pounded the fastball inside on and trying to open up that outside. He wanted that fastball to come back and catch the inside corner, but then he just goes away with a nice changeup. That's a great job of pitching right there by Kyle Davies.
Three and two. Got him to chase a fastball up. Kyle Davies now, in regard to reducing the walks, has only walked 2 in his last 14 2/3 innings. In his career, he has walked about 4.5 every 9 innings. But this year right now, he's down to about 3.5. So moving in the right direction. And a changeup is popped up. Diaspo moves into foul ground. And Davies gets the Rockies in order in the 4th. Come out to Kauffman Stadium on Tuesday, June the 1st. First 20,000 fans receive a T-shirt celebrating the 1985 World Series 25th anniversary, presented by AT&T. It's the second of a 6 T-shirt Tuesday. Be sure to get your tickets now and collect all 6 at Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. And it is a t-shirt type of a day with temperatures in the upper 80s today. Expecting the same weather tomorrow. Mike Aviles takes a strike from Jeff Francis. Aviles flied out to center field, first time up. The wind might keep that in play. Barmes coming over from second and fighting a very difficult wind makes the play, and Aviles is 0 for 2. Back to You Call It, presented by Sprint. Where has Ned Yost helped the most? And the fans agreeing with Frank. Frank saying C and D, in his opinion, were most important: bullpen management and delegating assignments to the coaches. Keep voting at 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, and then your selection. And remember, when you get the bounce back text message, look for details on how you can register to win a suite here at Kauffman Stadium and sit in the Sprint suite. 9 opportunities this year. We had one on the last homestand. Another winner will be in the suite tomorrow, and then 7 more after that. 1-1 to DeJesus, grounded into a double play in the first inning.
You know, that might be the best suite in the house. It's right above us, and it's just beautiful. From we saw the last person to occupy the Sprint suite was Sam Davis, having a great time up there.
So you'll be right behind home plate.
If they got a little basket and put a ball in it and on a string and hung it down, I might be able to take it and sign an autograph for him. That'd be pretty cool, huh?
There we are.
That's like Minnesota, remember?
That's right.
They put the little ball in a little basket with a string and hang it down, and guys just take it, put the ball back in, and pull it back up. Pretty cool.
So, are you dangling that out there for fans who might win the suite?
Only if both of us sign the ball. It's not a one-man.
They don't want my autograph.
It's not a one-man show. I mean, that's the way it is. Those are my rules. That's cool. Well, I like it.
Yeah, it's creative. How about I'll grab the ball, I'll hand it to you, you sign it, and I'll put it back in the basket and send it up again.
I'm a room service kind of guy, but I don't know. I wouldn't put you through that, though, right?
Very close pitch. DeJesus, get the feeling he wasn't sure. Francis kind of froze, hoping to get a strike from Laz Diaz. It's a 1-out walk.
Well, when a hitter's not sure, that means he must think this is a strike and just don't want to get away with a pitch. When you look at the box track, say, well, David was right.
He may have took off to first base, but I guarantee you it was about 2, 3, 4 steps until he was convinced that it really was a walk. So Francis walks his first. And now Billy Butler. Billy rolled out to third base in the first inning. He is grounded into 11 double plays, and that's what Francis will be trying for here.
Well, the best way for him to do that is throw that curveball and try to get Billy to swing over the top of it, or right there, throw that changeup, get him out front, and that'll really produce the ground ball he's looking for.
Well, that's pretty good range.
69 to 91.
Huh.
69 being the curveball.
Hasn't really shown the Royals a great move yet today. Francis is also one of those guys where he has some deception to his motion and the ball will jump on the hitter. So the radar gun might say 91, but to the hitter it seems faster than that.
Because they're picking it up late, you're right. And that's that big leg turn, a high leg kick, and the arm comes late.
He had DeJesus going back towards first base. And if Butler hits that ground ball fair, Stewart would have had plenty of time to get the ball down to second base.
Well, Francis didn't really do the normal high leg kick. He came up more like a slide step, and David take it as see if he's coming to first base. And if he gets that higher leg kick, then David moves towards second base.
Now, if Billy had hit a line drive to the right side, David would have been protected nicely by Todd Helton.
In good shape.
That's right.
I always say, if you're a guy on first base and you really have problems with left-handers, to me, you're better to shorten your lead so everything is going forward than to get your normal big lead and be thinking about that first step going back to the base, because that could mean a difference on the ball hitting the hole down the line of you beating that throw to second base.
Three stolen base attempts for David, successful twice. Willie Bloomquist stole second base against Francis in the third. David got a good jump, but with 2 strikes, Billy doesn't have the luxury to let him run and fouls it away.
That was a good read. He went as soon as Francis picked that front foot up, Ryan, he was off and running.
Only 4 hitters in the American League have a higher batting average than Billy Butler with 2 strikes. David not running, and Billy pulls it foul. Billy is up to 56 hits. Austin Jackson, the rookie for the Tigers, is second in the league with 58, and Ichiro Suzuki leads the league with 60. So Billy is only 4 off the American League leader. And this time David did not get a good read. Rusty Kuntz, Royals first base coach, jumping up in the air. David making the Rockies work for it, trying to get everyone involved. And he is out number 2.
That's what you call a bad rundown play, Ryan. Too many throws, too long to get it. That thing closed down, and you did have a bump. David did bump one of the players involved there, and that might have been obstruction unless he felt David went out of the baseline to make that contact.
Well, David doing exactly what players are taught in high school and in college is if you can make some sort of contact, try and do it. But it looked like it was David initiating the contact.
Well, you got Ned Yost pointing right away, and to the west he gave the ball up, and you can see David's arm go out to try to establish some kind of contact. A smart play on David's part. That's just heads up baseball, and if he gets that call, it's great. But too many throws on that rundown. Way too many.
And now Billy high in the air left field. And that's that. Royals are scoreless in the 4th. Sure. This is Micah Lefevre at his second Royals game today. He was here for opening day as well. So Sarah dropping by the booth and bringing Micah. And Micah was just telling me, Frank, that he thinks Kyle Davies is off to a good start today.
Well, I tell you, if he said that to you, he's saying the right thing. That Kyle Davies is definitely off to a good start. So I'm glad that you were able to get Micah's thoughts, and we'll carry it right back into the game.
Say bye.
That's great, Rhino.
Oh, and 1 from Davies to Miguel Olivo. All right, time to go with Mama. Rockies get a leadoff base hit from Miguel. Struck out his first time against Kyle, who has struck out 5 and hasn't walked anyone. And this is the first time the Rockies have had the leadoff man on. Rockies have had a base runner now in 4 of the first 5 innings, but no one has advanced beyond second base. Ian Stewart is 0 for 1, but he may have the hardest hit ball so far for Colorado, but lost a base hit when Billy Butler went diving in the hole in the second inning for the final out.
That was a very nice play by Billy at first base. With Miguel Olivo over there, you got to watch him because he will try to surprise you and try to take a base.
Two stolen bases for Olivo. He's been thrown out once. Olivo in his last full season in the minor leagues stole 29 bases. Now Kyle's ahead, no balls, 2 strikes.
And you can safely say he runs very well for a catcher.
Hey, by the way, speaking of John Wathan, he hit a home run today in the 85 Classic as the former Royals beat the former Cardinals. Stewart went around. So 6 strikeouts for Kyle, 1 down in the 5th inning. So this was earlier today for the Royals and Rockies. Got on top of it. Boy, that was a hanger, wasn't it? Boy, to get that ball down.
In softball, they're all hangers. You got to figure out how to make the right swing. But it's one of those games where the guys who were stars in the series or central focuses in the series did well today. George Order hit a home run. Dane Orge hit a home run.
So a guy who had a huge hit in that World Series, Dane Orge, getting it to Game 7. There was Todd Worrell was not here, so we did not have any George Orta, Todd Worrell incident over at first base. Darryl Motley was here. I don't know, did he make the catch for the final out?
No, he didn't make the catch on this one. He had some bad at bats too. He wanted to go deep so he can recreate, but he wasn't lucky enough to do that.
Olivo goes out at second base, but Aviles had no play as Olivo came in hard. He thought he was safe and talks it over with James Hoy, the second base umpire. So a risky play from Betancourt, but the Royals get the force.
I see what you see here, Ryan, is you see a shortstop and second baseman that's been working together for a while, and they trust each other. They know exactly what one will do and won't do, and that was a real heads-up play by Betancourt to get this ball to Aviles, and Aviles off the backside of the base, perfect.
And it looked like Aviles wanted to throw to first, but as he was winding up his throw, he hit Betancourt.
Well, they got a little too close. He's got to, once he feeds the ball, he's got to run wide. He can't make contact with the second baseman after he feeds the ball. That's like when the second baseman feeds to the shortstop, he runs wide because the shortstop comes out wider on his throw to first. But he may not have had a play, but sometimes you just got to know when to just eat it and get out of the way and not try to make something out of nothing. But mainly just having that trust factor, playing with the same guy every day. And Mike goes to the base, he may call for the ball, and even though Oliva was running, they felt like they had a chance to get it. That was a nice heads-up play.
Frank, what's the key to be able to control the ball the way you want to when you're fielding the ground ball with the glove scooping and tossing at the same time?
You got to feel it in the web. You got to feel it in between the thumb and the forefinger.
So it can't get into the palm?
In the palm, it'll pop out, right. Because you always got to grip it before you can let it go. And in the palm, it has a tendency to self-eject itself right out of it if you don't get that. Because it's hard to close the glove when the ball hits you right in the palm.
So you're trying to get as much pressure as you can with the thumb and the fingers. You
right.
Almost kind of grab it on both sides of the ball. Yeah. That's how you get control of it.
You just want control of it, and it's like a nice squeeze, and then you just let it go again. I mean, you see the play that Ionescu made in Baltimore where he dove up the middle, and he's got to catch it first, and then he lets it go. And a lot of people might think it's sort of like a tennis racket. You just come over and you just keep your hands firm and just swat it over to first base when you see the second baseman coming toward first base. But on the backhand play with the second baseman feeding the shortstop the same way.
Now I've got my Frank White gold glove giveaway from last year. Left-hand version, by the way, too. 3 balls, 1 strike on Dexter Fowler to try and get a feel. So I can't let this thing get into my palm. I want this. I guess if I'm feeling this right, this is my thumb and my middle finger where I'm applying the pressure.
That's where it's got to be, right?
Okay.
If you get it back toward back toward the wrist, now the ball, when you go to toss it out, the ball's going to roll down further, and you got a chance to catch it on the lip of the glove.
They were nice enough last year to give away left-handed versions of the Frank White glove, so I've got one. So what Frank is saying is you don't want the ball here, and you don't want the ball way up in the webbing, but I'm gripping this between my thumb and my middle finger here,
right.
And that gives me the ability to control it.
Right, and you can get as much speed on the ball as you can get on the ball.
It's a nice glove.
I know. I should go to the closet.
Well, don't stay in there very long. So no offensive highlights so far, and Honda will show us highlights of Kyle Davies, who's given up just 4 hits in 5 innings.
Well, he's had a great assortment of pitches, right, from his curveball, his changeup, his fastball, and cutter. And he's done a good job of varying those speeds and just keeping these Colorado Rockies hitters off balance.
made a nice defensive play himself. Billy Butler also made a good play with the glove in the second inning. So no score, with the Royals sending Jose Guillen, Alberto Callaspo, and Yuniesky Betancourt up against Jeff Francis. Now he's given up only 2 hits in 4 innings. And with that pitch, a curveball, he struck out Guillen in the second inning. Oh, 0-2. A little over a week ago, Jose was in the middle of a 2 for 26. In Cleveland 2 days ago, he had snapped a 54 at-bat home run drought. And he's 0 for 2 today on a fly ball to Brad Hopp. Joe Goldberg.
Well, guys, I was talking to Jose this morning, and he said, you know, he's been struggling and broken bats, ground balls, but there's always a moment when he feels like he snaps out of those slumps, and it was the other day in Cleveland with the home run swing, but he also got a little extra motivation. And you'll remember last night you kind of saw him giving a little bit of a lecture in the dugout to Alberto Callaspo, who's coming up now, and he said, you know, I realized that this guy Callaspo is getting close to me in the home run and RBI categories. He said, he's not in that category yet. He's not ready to catch me, so I had to step it up a little bit. And you take a look at this right now. Well, what is he saying to Callaspo? Well, I can tell you what the later result was. Callaspo was taking some swings in the cage with Jose Guillen, and Callaspo is going to ground out here, but Callaspo grabbed Guillen's bat, got a couple hits in the cage with it, then stole that bat and swung with it last night. Ended up getting hits in his last 2 at-bats, and Jose said, he can't do that. And I said, well, what if it helps the team? And I asked Callaspo today, you going to use that bat? He said, of course I am. There's no doubt, guys.
Well, I have to admit, I've done that before. I've borrowed bats, and when mine didn't feel good, George just come get my bats. I mean, you do that all the time. Your sluggers don't normally like for you to mess with their bats, but sometimes they give in, and especially if you're swinging good. So what's he saying? Alberto's not really a bona fide RBI guy. That's what he's saying.
Making me look bad, man.
But it's good that they can have that kind of fun. It means they're real loose and having a lot of fun right now.
Well, and Jose has been more outspoken than anyone else about the attitude, the atmosphere of the clubhouse. Stewart charges in, and Francis just keeps rolling along. He's allowed only 2 hits in 5 innings. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T Rethink Possible. By Panera Bread, explore a menu of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and breakfast items at Panera Bread. And by Chevrolet, come see for yourself why 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy. A summer-like day at Kauffman Stadium, a nice crowd watching, and they're busy out at the Little K. And more offense out there than on the Big K, with no score at the end of 5 innings and only 6 combined hits. The Rockies with 4 against Kyle Davies, and the Royals with only 2 against Jeff Francis. Giambi has one of the hits, singled in the 3rd inning, 1 for 2. Two balls, no strikes. Giambi, Helton, and Tulowitzki coming up. 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Big names, but those 3 have hit 4 home runs this year. Not each, total. And it's May the 22nd.
What I've seen a lot of, Ryan, is just good hitters missing their pitch. This ball here, this last pitch is Giambi. That's a pitch they usually drive in the left center field. But he's just cutting those balls, fouling them off to the third base side.
Good change up, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Everything's just trying to pull everything. So you can see where normally he would track this ball a little bit better, but you know, he just in the pull mode and it just pulls right off. And when you're in the pull mode, even the ball's down the middle of the plate, when you're pulling off of them, you're actually cutting the ball, and that's those lazy fly balls to the left field side.
Aviles played a tricky hop. Looked like he was ready to field that in front of him, and then all of a sudden ended up on his backhand side. So 1 away as we look at today's AT&T trivia question. Which Royals manager took over the team during the season and guided them to the American League playoffs? I have an idea.
Well, Whitey took over for Jack McKeon.
Was that in '76 though?
No, that was before. Dick Hauser for Jim Fry.
That would be my guess. I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence that director Steve Kurtenbach took a shot of the 3 retired numbers up on the Royals Hall of Fame. I don't think it was you or George, was it? For a manager that took the Royals to the World Series, that really didn't buy Jim Fry a lot of time, did it? I mean, he was gone, what, a year, less than 2 years after that?
I mean, he had the great year in '80 when we went to the playoffs, and then eventually the World Series against the Phillies, and just a short time later, it was over.
Helton pulls it to Aviles, so 2 ground balls to Mike, and 2 down. Helton is 1 for 3. Well, let's take a look at the answer. I'm going to say Dick Hauser.
And you wrote it down. I saw you.
There you go, 1981. So 1 year. I mean, you take a team to the World Series for the first time ever in the franchise history. You think that would buy you 2 or 3 more years after that, but I guess that's the Royals' way of saying that it wasn't Jim Fry that got them to the World Series. Troy Tulowitzki has his 3rd home run of the year, and that's the first run of the game. In his last at-bat, he flied out to deep center field, taking Willie Bloomquist to the warning track, and he got a little more of it this time around.
Well, Kyle left the fastball up out over the plate. He didn't try to pull it. You know, just like Evan Longoria, they both got the same setup, Ryan. But see the knees slightly bent, ball's out over the plate. He just drives right through this pitch. He just got all of it, got everything behind it. And a good day to hit balls in the alleys here.
Brad Hopp is 0 for 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Kevin Shank telling me that Jim Fry was fired after 70 games in 1981. 81 was a strike year, I believe. Two balls, 2 strikes. That was a strike year. Yeah, Kevin Shank telling me it was a 103 game season. So
it was like a 50 game strike.
So did he not come back after the strike? Okay.
And I think that playoff loss to the A's, it was like a mini playoffs. The first round, we lost 3 games to the A's at the end of that season.
Well, what might have seemed like a surprising move to some at the time resulted in a new manager that took the Royals to the World Series again and won the World Series and has his number retired. Posednik with the grab. Rockies take the lead on the Tulowitzki home run. Kyle Davies had 102 pitches and has given up just the home run to Troy Tulowitzki. Having a long discussion with Ned Yost, and the Royals are busy in the bullpen. So that might be it for Kyle. It's also one of those days, Frank, where, yeah, the pitch count says 100, but because of the heat, the body might feel more like 110 or 115 pitches.
Especially when you're pitching. It's a lot different when you're actually playing the game as a defensive player. When you're pitching, it's his first real hot day. And Ned Yost is aware of that, and he's, first of all, probably asked him how he felt, and he probably already had his mind made up what he wanted to do, but just still wanted to get his feeling on and explain why, he's doing what he's doing. The old days, they just say you're out. They don't sit and talk to you at all.
Curveball looked like a dip low. 1-1 on Bloomquist, who singled in the 3rd inning, ending in 0 for 16. Bloomquist, Kendall, and Posednik coming up. Still no balls, 2 strikes. Well, be sure to stick around if you come out and watch the Royals and the Tigers on June the 4th for the KC Sky Show. It's a special effects, video, music, and mind-bending magic and fireworks spectacular. 5 times the length of a regular Fireworks Friday. Presented by Hy-Vee Pepsi and 106.5 the Wolf. Two balls, two strikes. Francis with very good command of his pitches today. Only one walk in 5 innings and only 2 strikeouts. So he has used his defense. The Royals haven't squared him up many times. And a good at bat for Bloomquist. He's taken the count from 0-2 to 3-2. Well, the Royals have done this so often, and they're trying again in this inning. Over this stretch of going 6-2, the opposition scores. The Royals so many times have come right back, and there's Willie Bloomquist taking a walk. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg with producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton and Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. Outside, ball 1 to Jason Kendall. Jeff Graham is filling in on Royals Live with the production duties as TJ is away at a wedding, not his own. The wedding must be in Tahiti because he's going to be gone for like a week.
I think there's more than one. All his friends decide to get married in the same 2-week span.
Well, Kevin just corrected me that he has to go all the way to Omaha. Now, would that be Omaha, Nebraska, or Omaha Beach? On the corner, 2-1. Kendall fly to right in the 3rd inning.
Now, Willie stole the bases last time, but this is also a good count for a hit and run and try to get something going against Jeff Francis.
Francis just going to stare down Bloomquist, and it's Kendall that calls time. And Bloomquist takes off early. Helton guns him down, and that's the 2nd time that's happened to the Royals in the last 3 innings.
Well, he kind of figured something was up the pitch before when Francis just held the ball and to see if Willie was going to try to go first move, and there he just made a quick move to first base and caught him in the act.
Two and two to Kendall. So the Royals have just had a tough time getting anything going against Francis. Posednik led off the first with a single, but then DeJesus grounded into a double play. Bloomquist a 1-out single and a stolen base in the 3rd. DeJesus a walk in the 4th. And now that caught stealing is big as Kendall hits it into left center. He's going to try for 2, and Fowler's throw is a little late.
Jason does a good job to stand through this ball, Ryan. He leaves home plate right away thinking double on this play. Otherwise, he probably won't make it. But you can see he watches the way the ball's going. He sees Fowler gets the ball. And Fowler does a good job getting around this ball and getting a strong throw in the 2nd. But it's off just enough that Jason was able to get in there.
And now 0-1 to Posednik. 8 doubles for Kendall. Jason Kendall, safe at second base. Safe and secure, New York Life. Laid off the curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Posednik with that half swing and a single in the first inning, and grounded out to second in the third. A little bit outside. Two and two. By winning last night, the Royals winning 3 in a row for the first time this year, and 3 blowout wins, outscoring their opponents 26-9. So they've been racking up the runs, but haven't scored yet against Francis. Royals also have a streak of 6 straight hits with that 6 straight games, that is, with at least 10 hits. But so far today, 3 hits in 5 1/3.
You know, Scott Posednik, Ryan, he's second in the league in day batting average with a 387.
And he is down on strikes. 2 down. We also want you to come out to the ballpark on Saturday, June the 5th. Royals take on the Tigers at 6:10. And make sure you come early. The first 20,000 fans receive a Brett Saberhagen bobblehead presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. For details, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. And that's a shot of Fred White inside the Royals Hall of Fame talking about Brett Saberhagen. And if you get the chance and you come out to a Royals game, make sure you plan ahead so that you have some time to check out the Royals Hall of Fame. Mike Aviles has flied to center, popped out to second base. 1 ball, 1 strike. Didn't get around on that fastball, and this is what we were talking about earlier, that Francis, one of those guys, you don't pay too much attention to the radar gun. That said 90 miles an hour, but that was more like a swing against a fastball that was 94 or 95.
And especially after he follows it, precedes it with a changeup or a curveball. That makes it look even faster.
Breaking ball line right to Tulowitzki. The Royals get a runner to second base, but strand him there. 1-0 Colorado. Witzke hitting his third home run of the year off of Davies in the 6th. Kyle goes 6 innings, 102 pitches, no walks. So Kyle has allowed 2 walks in his last 17 innings. And the Royals with just 3 hits in 6 innings against Jeff Francis. And as we predicted when Ned Yost was talking to Kyle in the dugout while the Royals were batting, that this would be it for Kyle. It is. So Dusty Hughes in our Chevy call to the bullpen will face Seth Smith, Miguel Olivo, and Ian Stewart. 2 left-hand batters in Smith and Stewart, with right-hand hitting Miguel Olivo in the middle. Smith 1 for 2 against Davies. And Dusty's ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. 9 walks in 16 and a third innings. He wants to cut that down. You know, the Mohawk is making a comeback. Did you notice that?
I just have one question to that, is why? Did you have one when you were a kid?
Well, it's like you know, you can't decide whether you want to shave your head or not. You know, you still got the shaved head feel on the sides, but you also, if you want to be able to style some of the remaining hair, there you go. It's kind of the best of both worlds.
Well, I kind of think that before you always say that, you know, you have to know what you look like on TV before you react to who you are on TV. I think the same thing about hair. You got to kind of know what the shape of your head is before you decide to take all your hair off.
I think that's true. Some guys have a good shaved head, shape to their head. And some guys, when they shave their head, you think, why did you do that?
You got to
right, Phil?
You got to really feel around in there, make sure you don't have any lumps or knots that you didn't know about. You know, everything's exposed.
That's deep into left center field, and Bloomquist at the track, at the wall, and it hit the top of the wall and stays in. So Stewart comes back from 0-2, and on a 2-2 pitch, doubles to lead off the 7th inning.
Well, you take a good look at it right here, Ryan. It didn't go across that little short fence. It hit right on the flat part of the wall there. And Willie makes a great effort to try to bring this ball back. Just did miss it.
And now Miguel Olivo, 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. And this is where Miguel struggled at times with the Royals, with runners in scoring position. He so badly wanted to drive in the run that sometimes he tried too hard.
Well, right now, you just basically want to advance the runner. You're not trying to get the base hit, not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. You're just trying to hit the ball to the right side and get him over.
And he does that, drives it into right center field. That'll put the Rockies in front 2-0. And Miguel might be thinking about 3. He is. Avila's relay is late. So a double and now a triple against Dusty Hughes, and the Royals are down 2-0.
Right here, he does a good job of laying the ball out over the plate right here, right at 85 miles an hour. Didn't have a lot of bite to it, just kind of sit up there. And Miguel Olivo went with the pitch, got a lot of wood on it, and drove the ball into right center field to the wall. Seth missed trot. He just trots him on this one. I mean, this is a good play. Miguel Olivo, and we've seen him do that a lot. Once he's on the bases, there's no stopping him. You almost got to throw him out to stop him when he gets on the base.
Final game of this series tomorrow, Zach Greinke against Aaron Cook. Zach 1-4, Cook 1-3. First pitch is at 1:10. IB Royals Live with Joel begins at 12:30. You know, it seems like we've seen that before from Olivo when he was with the Royals. And I mentioned that in situations like that, he would get himself into trouble because he would try so hard. But he made the adjustment. And we saw that before. He'd go up there in the first swing and would overswing. And then the next swing would be a little more controlled. Not trying to pull the ball, not trying to hit it out of the ballpark, just trying to hit a line drive up the middle.
Well, Dusty gave him a nice breaking ball down underneath his swing.
And that's into center field. So a 2-run inning, and the Rockies lead 3-0. So Hughes on to face two lefties and Miguel Olivo. All three reach. And that's all he will face today. So another Chevy call to the bullpen, and Brad Thompson comes through the gate to face Clint Barmas.
You know, it's kind of all about making those good pitches. You know, and you know, he gave Miguel a nice breaking ball down underneath his swing. The first pitch, he swung over it.
Pitched last night. The two were former teammates in St. Louis. I asked Brad Thompson about Randy, and he said, the Reverend. Why the Reverend? Well, Randy Flores actually presided over Brad Thompson's wedding. And Brad Thompson, when he decided to get married to his wife, he said, well, who would I trust the most to get up there with me? Not just a friend, but a guy that is a friend, a teammate, and whose father has been a minister for many, many years. So it was Randy Flores who presided over Brad Thompson's wedding, guys.
So Randy Flores and umpire Ted Barrett would have a lot to talk about. Clint Barmas at the plate. And a chance for a double play. And Aviles just couldn't get it out of his glove.
I think what you see here, Ryan, is you take a look at Mike Aviles' head right here, and watch when he turns his head. His head turns. When your head turns before you get that ball in there, you're not going to have a good grab. And, you know, Aviles and Eddie Rodriguez is out working on that double play, and they try to get him a weight shift. And you see that when he comes back with that left foot, the left foot should have been on top of the bag, going out over the runner and getting the throw to first base. But you got to get that weight shift. You got to get that weight going back to first base so you can get up. But the main thing is you got to look the ball into your glove.
And right as you said that, we took a shot of Aviles. He was kind of looking into his glove as if he was reminding himself, that's what I did wrong.
Well, yeah, you see on that replay, when he jumped out to catch the ball, and his left foot was off the bag. So they're kind of lucky to get that play at second base.
So Thompson in relief of Hughes, and Dusty faced Steve Smith, Miguel Olivo, and Ian Stewart. A double, a triple, and a single, scoring 2 runs. Kyle Davies gave up 1 run in 6 innings. 1-1 to Dexter Fowler, who is 0 for his last 20. 2 strikeouts and a flyout against Davies.
Well, a guy like Fowler learning to switch hit too, Ryan, should have learned how to bunt at the same time. You know, kind of his speed. You got sometimes those bunts will take that long. There you go. You know, that's what we're talking about. You got to try everything. When you got speed, you got to be able to bunt, help yourself throughout the year. And I think that if more guys would do that, their hitting streaks wouldn't last as long. You know, when they go in a slump.
Something that Scott Posednik is very skilled at, either the full bunt or the half bunt, half swing, which he did today, executed today in the very first inning.
Yeah, I just subscribe to the theory of why would you keep dying the same death every day? You know, you got to come up with something that's going to show everybody, hey, I'm trying to work through this. I'm thinking of everything I can do. And when you keep going up there swinging and missing and making outs, you're not going to be in the lineup very long.
Center field for Willie Bloomquist. Out number 2. Replay returns with an all-new season. 2 high school hockey teams from 1999 reunite 11 years later in Hockeytown. Follow the journey of Catholic Central versus Trenton. ReplayTheSeries.com. Jason Giambi 1 out of 3 with a single. And this is that dangerous part of the inning when the Royals feel like they should be out of the inning if they turn the double play. So this is bonus time for the Rockies. And Giambi hitting .211. But that man standing at the plate has 410 career home runs. Into the left field corner, and Posednik, just before he gets to the railing, makes the catch. Rockies add 2. It's stretch time at Kauffman Stadium.
and Coco Crisp, recently off the disabled list, sacrifice fly in the Battle of the Bay Area. Ty Wigginton leading Baltimore right now. Milwaukee losing to Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Houston later tonight. And then a busy night of baseball: Cincinnati, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Detroit, and the Dodgers, and much more action as well going on throughout the major leagues as interleague play starting this weekend, guys.
All right, thanks, Joel. And ending tomorrow for the time being. Then we'll revisit interleague play next month. So the Royals down 3-0. Jeff Francis has given up 3 hits in 6 innings. He has also walked 2, including David DeJesus in the 4th. DeJesus, Butler, and Guillen coming up. 1 ball, 1 strike. So a pretty empty box score on the Royals side. The Rockies have 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 run in the 6th, and 2 runs in the 7th. He has had good command of his curveball today. 1 and 2 to DeJesus.
And that's the pitch that's really made his fastball seem faster. He gets a good hip turn and really hides that hand a long time. And he brings a curveball out of there and gets it to the extension side, to the outside to lefties, and also the changeup.
Sliced into left field and slicing away from Smith, who makes the play. DeJesus wants a double, and he's in there. Runner at second, nobody out.
David really kind of chops at this ball. He just hits it right at the last minute and really cuts it right down the left field line. And from there, Ryan, it's all about running. This ball was away from him, took a half swing at it, and got it down the line. And here's David rounding first base, heading to second base, and made it with ease. See a lot of those half swing base hits lately. Probably looking for something off speed, and there's a fastball. They just reacted to it, and they got a nice base hit, nice double out of it.
Really no reason, the way he's pitching today, to go up there and try and swing out of your shirt. And you're playing right into his hands. 1-1 to Billy Butler, who has the defensive play of the game, brought to you by the Home Depot.
Well, this is Billy Butler making a diving play to his right to end the inning and get Kyle Davies off the field. That outstanding play, nice first step quickness by Billy.
At the plate, he is 0 for 2. Ground out to third, fly out to left. And now he pulls it to short. So DeJesus has to go back to the bag, and Billy is 0 for 3. So this is a huge bright spot for the Rockies. They've had to go the first month and a half without Jeff Francis. Jorge De La Rosa, the former Royal, who turned his career around last year, is on the disabled list. Jason Hamill, who pitched last night for the Rockies, was on the disabled list this year. Their closer, Houston Street, is on the disabled list, and a couple of relievers, Franklin Morales and Greg Reynolds, are on the disabled list. So their pitching has been thinned out, and now Francis, following Hamill coming back from the DL, and after giving up just 1 run and 7 hits in 7 innings against Washington on Sunday, now he's given up no runs, 4 hits in 6 1/3 today. 2 balls, no strikes to Jose Guillen.
You know, not being a pitcher, you really never know when your arm starts to hurt and you end up having surgery and you go up through a whole year not playing. That's the only weapon you got. As a position player, you might be able to come back and play it, you know, in some respects, but as a pitcher, all you have is your arm. And you can only imagine a whole year sitting out, just waiting for this opportunity to feel like you can go on the mound and pitch, then come out and pitch back-to-back games like he has.
So Guillen going for it all, and he has everything working his way right now. Swinging the bat well. The wind is blasting out to left field, and he thought he had a home run pitch.
Well, you know, the one thing about swinging, when Jose gets in that mode where he overswings, that's when he gets in trouble, and that's when he pulls his head and pulls off. This curveball is right down the middle of the plate.
Base hit left field. So for the first time all day, the Royals have 2 runners on at the same time.
Well, Francis leaves this one down in the zone to Jose, and he did a good job of going out and getting it and pulling it back in the hole. He's real strong. He can take this pitch away and still pull it in the hole like that.
Jim Tracy, Rockies manager, is going to go out and have a chat with Francis, and he comes running out of the dugout, so maybe he hasn't made up his mind yet. Might want to talk it over with Francis and Miguel Olivo. He's got a righty and a lefty warming up. Francis is at 90 pitches, and he's going to go with a lefty. So it's going to be Joe Beamel is going to come in, and he'll make Callaspo bat right-handed. Beimel, the lefty, batting right-handed. This is back on May the 13th. The Royals were down 3-0 to David Huff and the Cleveland Indians. And Alberto Callaspo hit a 3-run home run to tie it. The Royals added on, won the game. Zach Greinke won his first of the year. That was in the 4th inning, and now Alberto Callaspo facing Beimel with runners at first and third, 1 out. Callaspo was 0 for 2 against Jeff Francis. It's getting to that part of the day where the hitters, if they're going to get after it, they want to do it pretty soon here, because those shadows are growing from behind home plate. And pretty soon the hitter is going to be in the full shadows, pitcher in the full sunlight, and that is advantage pitcher. Callaspo got the pitch he wanted, but just a little bit out in front. And Miguel Olivo makes the play for the second out. And now Yuniesky Betancourt. And Jim Tracy comes out. So Beimel's job was to get Iaspo. And now a right-hander coming on to face Unievsky Betancourt. Matt Belisle will come on with runners at the corners and 2 outs.
Well, Unievsky likes to swing early in the count, so if he gets a fastball out over the plate, he does have the power to drive the ball out of the ballpark, and then if not, he's got the power to split the outfielders in the gap, and that could be a big plus to him. The key with him is not chasing a bad pitch, first pitch with men on base.
Well, we showed you that Alberto Iaspo hit a big 3-run home run for the Royals last homestand. Up the right field line, that is a foul ball. That was the day before Ned Yost became manager. The very next day, when Ned Yost became manager, Unievsky Betancourt homered against Mark Burley. One ball, one strike. This inning is the first time all game the Royals have had more than one base runner at the same time. Two and one. Final game of the series tomorrow. Zach Greinke going up against Aaron Cook. Zach 1-4. Cook is 1-3. Ivy Royals Live begins at 12:30. The first pitch is at 1:10. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Betancourt.
That's a pitch you probably want to have back right there. That's really in his wheelhouse, and you know, those shadows might make a difference. You come from sunlight to the shadow, the ball sometimes looks like a little black dot coming in there, and he had a good pitch to hit and fouled it off.
Laid off a very close pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
This is one he probably don't want to take twice. This is really right just off the outside corner right there, Ryan. I tell you what, he'd want to have that pitch back. And Yuli right now with 2 strikes is going to have to try to protect as best he can.
Guillen gets the early break, and Betancourt fouls it away. Last night, the 7th inning was the Royals' big inning. A 2-0 lead. Going into the bottom of the 7th, the Royals batted all 9. They scored 4, making it a 6-0 game. Then 6-2, and then the Royals put the game away with 3 in the 8th. Guillen back to the bag as Belisle looked to third and over to first.
What really made that play work is Heldon broke to first base. If he doesn't break to first base, that's probably a balk right there.
Guillen runs, and Betancourt fouls it away again. Look at that great catch. Hey, little guy in the front row of the upper deck brought his glove. I don't think he's quite yet realized what he's done. Just stuck his glove out and the ball went in the glove. Everyone started cheering around him and he reacted like he had done something wrong. Now Betancourt fouls it away again. So it looks like he's really trying to stay back and drive it either up the middle or towards right field. Well, it would appear right now with the shadows that Belisle would have a huge advantage. As Betancourt is in the shadows, Belisle still standing in the sunlight. And another foul ball.
Yuni's got some good pitches to hit here, Ryan, on 3-2. He's fouling them all off. And, you know, the further you go into this, it favors the pitcher at some point.
So there's the advantage for the pitcher. And right now the sun goes behind a cloud, so that takes some of the shadows away and should help out Betancourt. Another foul ball. And now on a hot day and a long battle between Belisle and Betancourt, Miguel Olivo is going to go out and allow Matt Belisle to catch his breath.
He's probably frustrated. He's made good pitches and got foul balls on all of them. You got 3-2. You have to throw strikes, and he's doing that. And haven't been able to get Betancourt to put the ball in play.
Jesus still standing at third base, and Guillen getting his sprint work in this Betancourt at bat, as he keeps taking off with the early break with a full count and 2 outs, but Betancourt just keeps fouling pitches away. This time into shallow right field, and Brad Hopp is there, and the Royals lead 2 in the 7th inning.
Royals Live. Ryan?
Okay, Joel, and the Royals are going to send Robinson Tejeda to the mound for the first time in 9 days. The first day that Ned Yost was manager of the Royals, Robinson Tejeda was running in the outfield during batting practice and tweaked his calf. And the Royals immediately said that Tejeda would not have to go on the disabled list, but he was going to be out for a while. So he has slowly gotten himself ready to get back in there. And Ned has had him warmed up a couple of times, just hasn't gotten him into a game yet. And now trying to hold the Rockies at 3. There was no score in the game after 5 innings. Colorado with 1 in the 6th and 2 in the 7th. 1-run charge to Kyle Davies, gave up a home run to Troy Tulowitzki in the 6th inning, and then a couple of runs against Dusty Hughes. Olivo and Stewart driving in the 2 runs. 1-1 on Todd Helton. Two balls, 1 strike. Helton's double back in the 1st inning was his 7th of the year. He's had some huge seasons in his big league career with doubles. He has 7 years of 40 or more doubles with a high of 59 doubles back in 2000. And he's also had 2 years where he's had 39 doubles. So he's come very close to 9 seasons with at least 40 doubles.
He's got that nice swing. He's always had a real good swing. Didn't have a lot of power numbers, but he does have the ability to get base hits and drive in and run.
He has faced Robinson Tejeda twice. He has walked and he has homered. Still 3-2. Struck him out. So a good start for Tejeda, and 1 down in the 8th inning. Well, we asked you earlier in our You Call It, presented by Sprint, where has Ned Yost helped the most? Clutch hitting. Royals 373 with runners in scoring position over the last 8. Strong starts. 6 of 8 quality starts. They got another one today. Bullpen 1.87. Or delegating assignments to coaches. 41% going with bullpen management. Thank you for voting today. Ned Yost said before the game today that Joakim Soria will get in the game. He hasn't pitched in 4 days, and Ned's feeling is you don't go any further than 4 days. And that's when Bob Dutton of the Kansas City Star said, well, what if Kyle Davies throws a 9-inning shutout? And Ned smiled and said, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. I think I would take the shutout. But he was going to try and find a way to get Joakim in the game. Tulowitzki chasing a fastball up at 97. Hit his 3rd home run of the year back in the 6th inning against Kyle Davies. That made it a 1-0 game. The at-bat prior to that, he flied to the warning track in center field. So he didn't quite get all of it in the 4th, but he did in the 6th. And Tejeda strikes him out. And that was at 98 miles an hour. So 2 down. The Tulowitzki home run back in the 6th is our Chevrolet play of the game.
And that's really the one blemish on Kyle's day right here. He left the fastball up out over the plate, and Troy Tulowitzki took it to right center field. But he was lights out other than that pitch right there.
5th home run given up by Davies. Put it on the list, Sammy. 0-1 to Hop.
Well, this is when you're looking for one thing and getting something totally different, right? You think the fastball's going to be right there for you, and all of a sudden you commit, the ball starts to move away, and it's up out of the zone, and you try to hold up, but it's too late.
You know, we're getting to a point now where we're going to have to take a look at the list. We've got quite a few swings on it, and maybe start eliminating some, because the list will continue to grow.
We'll put it on DVD.
Tejeda strikes out the side, gets the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Royals down by 3. Monday, May the 31st, so 9 days from now. For details, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. "87 degrees at first pitch today, so about 15 degrees warmer than yesterday, and about the same conditions expected for tomorrow, and maybe even a little more humid." Matt Belisle got the final out of the 7th inning. Willie Bloomquist, Jason Kendall, and Scott Posednik coming up in the bottom of the 8th. Willie was 0 for 16 when he singled in the 3rd inning and then walked in the 6th. He is 1 for 2 in stolen base attempts. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeff Francis 6 in a 3rd. 5 hits, no runs. Joe Beimel faced 1 batter in the 7th. And then Belisle 1 batter for the final out of the 7th inning. He's ahead 1 ball, 2 strikes. Still 1-2.
Well, Belisle's got a nice ERA, 2.67 coming into this game, Ryan. He's averaging about a strikeout per inning, and I think that's pretty encouraging for a reliever coming out of the bullpen.
And there is a strikeout. 95 miles an hour. One down in the 8th inning. Belisle originally from the Braves organization, second-round pick back in 1998. Spent a lot of time on the disabled list in between 2006 and 2008. Back problems, forearm, right knee. Jason Kendall trying to draw in Stewart on the left side. But Stewart not going for it. He's still a couple of steps behind the bag. Past the mound, and Belisle pulling his glove back and allowing Barmes to throw out Jason Kendall. 2 down. And Kendall is 1 for 3. So the Royals winning 8-4, 9-3, and 9-2 their last 3 games. Having a tough day at the plate today. No runs, 5 hits, and 7 2/3 innings.
The Royals faced Jeff Francis, who really came out, pitched well today, and mixed in his fastball, curveball change, and really kept him out front on most of his pitches today. The curveball, I think, might have been the most effective pitch for him.
1 ball, 1 strike. Now there's Kyle Farnsworth and Bruce Chen, so maybe we won't see Joakim Soria today. Two balls, 1 strike. Two and 2. Well, Ned Yost doing everything but guaranteeing that Joakim would find an inning today.
I start to feel like the Maytag repairman, just kind of sitting down there, waiting for something to break as well. Here's my chance to get in the game.
Still 3 and 2. Sednick facing Belisle for the first time. Only 4 Royals on the roster have faced him before, and one of those guys not actually on the roster, Rick Hankiel on the DL, so not a lot of experience against his pitcher. And into center field, it's a 2-hit game for Posednik.
Doesn't hit it very hard, Ryan. Got in on him just a little bit, pulled his hands in, and just served it out into center field.
You know, looking at Fox Tracks before that pitch, it was pretty clear that Scott was looking for something up because everything was around the knees and down and taking pitch after pitch. But when he got one up around the belt, he was ready for it.
Well, Belisle was turning it over, trying to get the ball to sink, trying to get some ground balls, and there he throws a 94-mile-an-hour, 4-seam fastball on the outside corner to Michael Vilas.
Mike is 0 for 3, lined out to short last time up. No balls, 2 strikes. Vilas bringing a 6-game hitting streak into the game. He is hitting at .352. And he is down on strikes. So the Royals have not come up with a single run through 8 innings. Pitching from Brian Bannister and winning in blowout fashion. Today it's been all Jeff Francis and the Rockies bullpen, and Jeff Francis is today's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
Well, Ryan, he did everything he had to do today to be a pain in the Royals' side. He really came out, established his fastball away, got his ground balls, got himself out of trouble, had good use of his curveball, and was able to hold the Royals to five harmless hits.
Bruce Chen comes on in the 9th inning. Seth Smith, the starter in left field and a left-hand batter, was scheduled to hit, but Ryan Spilborghs, who started in last night's game, will bat for Smith. Smith with a 2-hit game and a run scored. Spilborghs 1 for 4 last night. Down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Royals getting 6 innings from Kyle Davies. He gave up 1 run. Dusty Hughes gave up 2 runs, didn't record an out. And then Brad Thompson and Robinson Tejeda with scoreless innings. First base umpire Scott Berry says no swing, and it's 2-2. Off the knuckles into shallow right, and to Jesus with the sunlight glistening off of his glasses makes the play, and 1 down in the 9th inning. Royals in the bottom of the 9th will have the middle of the order to Jesus, Butler, Guillen, and if anybody gets on, Callaspo. So they've got it all set up. Manny Corpas is the Rockies closer with Houston Street on the disabled list. Miguel Olivo 2 hits tonight. There's Corpas warming up. Olivo a single in the 5th inning, tripled with an RBI and scored in the 7th.
Yeah, that was a big triple against Dusty Hughes. That really got things going for the Rockies.
You may have noticed a little patch on the front of the Rockies jersey. And the Rockies family suffering a terrible tragedy back on April the 20th. Kelly McGregor, Rockies team president, who grew up in Colorado, a football star at Colorado State, played for the Broncos among other NFL teams, died suddenly at the age of 48. Just a very popular man in Denver and in the Rockies organization. And so they've been wearing his initials on their jersey as a way of a tribute to him. And one of those guys, as I was reading about Kelly McGregor, one of those fitness fanatics, the last guy you would think would die suddenly. Two down, Ian Stewart, 1 for 3. He drove in a run in the Rockies' 2-run 7th inning. Center field, that's well hit. That Willie Bloomquist is there, shuffling his feet, and makes the catch as he runs onto the warning track. So here we go to the bottom of the 9th. Royals down by 3 with DeJesus, Butler, and Guillen coming up. Jeff Francis and 2 relievers. Ryan Spilborghs, who batted for Seth Smith, stays in the game in left field. And Manny Corpus takes over on the mound. Houston Street, the regular closer, on the disabled list. Corpus with 2 saves. Franklin Morales has 3 saves, but he's on the disabled list. And the Rockies with 5 this late into the season. 5 saves total. Back in 07, when the Rockies went to the World Series, Corpus saved 19 and had an ERA of 2.08. And the Royals sending up the meat of the order to Jesus, Butler, and Guillen. David DeJesus has doubled, walked, and grounded into a double play. 92 miles an hour for a strike. 1 career plate appearance for DeJesus against Corpus, and David drew a walk. No balls, 2 strikes.
You kind of wonder, taking 2 fastballs right there, Ryan. You wonder if David's picking the ball up, you know, with those shadows. Even though it's covering the pitcher's mound, you still got that bright out there in center field. You wonder if he's picking the ball up well.
A little bit inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Corpus is from Panama, and being a hard-throwing reliever, you can just imagine who he grew up idolizing. Mariano Rivera, also from Panama. A little bit outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another homegrown Rockies player, signed at the age of 16. Now he is 27 years old. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now I want you to hang with me on this one, Frank. Corpus is from Panama, but he was discovered while playing in a tournament in Taiwan by a scout named Tim Ireland.
Yeah, Timmy was my backup for a little bit here at KC at second base. Managed against him in the Texas League. He managed the Rangers down there at Frisco.
So there you go, from Panama, playing in Taiwan by a scout named Ireland.
I missed it.
There's another player from Panama, Bruce Chen, who just pitched a scoreless top of the 9th inning. Line caught by Tulowitzki.
Well, David did everything right here. He got behind his ball, hit a line drive, and Troy Tulowitzki, with that height he has and that quickness, is able to go up and take that line drive down. So he was able to take maybe 2, almost 3 steps and then jump before he caught that line drive. That's pretty good quickness right there.
Billy Butler 0 for 3. Billy facing Corpus for the first time. In only 1 inning today, the Royals have had more than 1 base runner at a time. They had 1 runner in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. They had 2 in the 6th, but not at the same time. There was a runner caught stealing. And then in the 7th, that's the only time they've had 2 runners on at the same time, and 1 runner in the 8th. So haven't been able to really build anything against the Rockies after coming up with 9 runs in last night's game. Still 0-2. Struck him out. So 2 up, 2 down, and now Jose Guillen. The Rockies right now have the same mission as the Royals, and that's just to get back to 500. And they've got some players that eventually will come off the disabled list. They figure the hitters will get things going eventually. And if they can get the final out here, they will be just 1 game below 500 at 21-22. Slider for a strike to Guillen. 1 for 3. Guillen had a single in the 7th inning. Kind of a half swing foul ball, and it's no balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Corpus has done a good job, Ryan, of just keeping the ball down. You know, he just stands to the outside, trying to keep the ball down, and so far he's done a good job of it.
Right where Olivo wanted it, but Guillen wouldn't go for it. Royals have been shut out twice this year. On May the 2nd at Tampa Bay, 1-0 against Wade Davis and 3 relievers. And then on May the 12th here at Kauffman Stadium against the Cleveland Indians, Fausto Carmona and 3 relievers. That was a game that was halted a couple of times because of rain. Carmona going just 5 innings. That was a 4-0 Indians victory. Royals have not been shut out since Ned Yost took over. In fact, Ned took over just 2 games after the shutout against the Indians. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Callaspo on deck. Colorado Rockies trying to win for the first time ever at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals swept them here in 3 games in 2008 and won last night 9-2.
I think here he's just got to get a fastball, Ryan, right down the middle and see what Jose Guillen can do. You don't want to walk right here. You just want to go make him put the ball in play.
Tulowitzki fields, spins, throws high, and he needed some help from Todd Helton, and he got it. So it wasn't pretty. But Corpus picks up his 3rd save, and the Rockies do win for the first time at Kauffman Stadium, shutting out the Royals 3-0. We will be right back.
No on camera here, guys.
Okay.